I've been wanting to try this crazy gimbal shot for a few weeks now, but what held me back every time was the fact that I don't know if it's even possible. But there's only one way to find out, right? So today is the day. I bought rope, lots of rope, I bought a bag of pulleys, and I attached this metal loop to my Weebill 2 gimbal. I have nothing to lose, except for my gimbal and my camera. This video is sponsored by Artlist. Okay guys, but first let me give you some context real quick. So, the Weebill 2 is a great gimbal, and just like many other gimbals these days, it has this feature called Smart Follow. It can track a subject. What that means is that the gimbal can move by itself to keep a subject centered in the frame, and it's a great feature for solo filmmakers, for example, if you're filming yourself. But it can also help you to pull off some more difficult shots, because it helps you to keep the subject centered in the frame. So it's a very useful feature, but I kept thinking, can't we use that feature for something else, something more spectacular? And I was watching some YouTube videos when I came across this video from, who else? Peter McKinnon. They attached all these ropes to the rafters of a warehouse, and then he used the tracking feature of the DJI RS2 to keep the subject in frame while someone else pulled the camera up to the ceiling. So they actually did a crane shot without using a crane, but what I want to know now is, can I pull off a similar shot like that without any help, all by myself? No passing the gimbal to someone else to pull it up. This is one for the true solo filmmakers, you know what I mean? But of course, I'm not gonna climb so high because I have absolutely no experience and I don't wanna die. But I know this magic tree close by here that's perfect to give it a try. It's not too high. And it will also be a good test to find out how well the tracking of the Weebill 2 works. Can we actually use it for something more complicated? Let's find out. So I attached the rope to a big branch up there, 2 pulleys, and I used 2 pulleys because I want the rope to come down in a V shape, and that will keep the rope from spinning around once the camera is attached. So I have these 2 pieces of rope now. When I pull these, then the camera should go up. Let's test it and see if it works. I think that it works, but let's try a few simple shots first to make sure that it doesn't come crashing down. The setup works for these simple shots, definitely. The only problem I have is, as you can see, sometimes the gimbal starts wobbling and I don't know what it is, if it's the wind or I have no idea, but it seems to be worse when I detach the stand. So I'm leaving the stand on and it seems like that's better. But anyway, now let's try it with the tracking. So the idea is to get the upward movement and a pan to the left or the right. I don't know if it's gonna work, but we'll see. Yeah, so I'm gonna show you the shots that I did with tracking on the gimbal enabled here in the studio, because it needs some explanation. But first, let's not forget to thank the amazing sponsor of this video, Artlist, because I mean, music makes all the difference, right? And it even reflects the personality of the filmmaker. That's you. So, if you're looking for great music, Artlist is the place to be. They offer high quality music and I always find what I need, even if I'm looking for something different, something more special. And the great thing about Artlist is that everything's covered. It's one universal worldwide license, so that means YouTube and social media, but also commercial work. If you like the music in this video, then go check them out. You get 2 months free if you use the link in the description. And now, back to the tracking feature of the Weebill 2. First of all, you saw it, there was a lot of wind, more than on a normal day. And it definitely affected all the shots that I did, but there was also something weird going on. You know, the thing is, the tracking feature of the Weebill 2 works very well. It's smooth when the gimbal is on a table or on the ground, on a solid surface, or when you're holding it. And it's super simple. You connect through the phone app and then you draw a box around the subject that you want to track and boom, it will track the subject. But once the gimbal was hanging from the tree, things changed. As soon as it had to follow a subject, left or right, it started wobbling. And the pan was also not smooth. It went like, you know, like this in how do you call that? Like it's... I don't know how to say it in English, but you know what I mean. But anyway, so I definitely need to test it again when there's not so much wind. But I think it's because it's hanging from that rope. But then when I tried a different shot, a crane shot with a tilt, is that what you call it? I think so. So the camera is going up and then it tilts down at the same time. The same shot as Peter McKinnon did in his video. For a shot like that, the tracking works really well. The only problem was that my lens was not wide enough. Or I should have climbed higher up the tree, but safety first, you know? And you know, also, the tracking, even though it's smooth and everything, it's not super accurate. You can't draw a box around a face and then expect that it will track the face the whole time, no matter what. It's not that accurate. The shot that I tried starts with Joanna entirely in the frame, so I had to draw a box around Joanna, her whole body. But then when she came closer, it ends with a medium shot, and you can see that the tracking, it still tracks her, but it's less accurate, and you see that it doesn't know how to compose the shot. So it really depends on what kind of shot you want to do. A crane shot with a tilt down? Perfect. But if you want to add a pan to the left or right, then not really. In that case, the gimbal really needs a solid surface. But either way, look, you can get cool results with that tracking feature, but I think the result would be even better if you just get some help, because then you have a person pulling the gimbal up and another person who can control the movements of the gimbal on the phone app. And that's when you can get really creative. But anyway, there was one more shot that I wanted to try. The camera high up in the tree, the camera comes down, and then I grab the camera to keep the shot going, so that it's like one long shot. And it looks pretty cool actually. And there was no tracking for this shot. So, there you go guys, $20 rig. It's not perfect, but I mean, you can get some creative shots. Shots that aren't possible with a monopod or even a drone. I'm thinking going through the branches of a tree or a staircase. I don't know, there are so many possibilities. But I want to end this video by saying, guys, please don't do anything stupid, illegal, or dangerous just to get a shot. If it's dangerous, just get some help from someone who's experienced in climbing stuff, and ask permission if you need to. And also, no matter how well you plan it and how high quality your gear is, there's always a chance that you make a mistake and you'll kill your camera or your gimbal. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one.